and still like it. So we're live. Let me get Larry set up here. We were able to get him connected to the call, but couldn't get any sound. So we have to go old school. Today is Thursday, November the 21st. Sorry as I adjust my computer screen for you guys. I need to turn my cell phone volume off for y'all. And I don't know if it's going to come up for me live or not. But Larry's here, so I don't know if any of you guys watched the, I don't know if you watched the hearing today.
I don't know if any of you guys watched
Sorry, I got to get the volume off. I'm sorry. Okay. Go ahead, Larry.
Hi, folks. I hope you can hear me because I've been talking since 5:30 this morning, so my voice is pretty spent. What I thought I'd do, since this is the day that's wrapping up the impeachment inquiry hearing, I don't know how many of y'all have had any involvement in foreign service. And I fear too many Americans don't know what American foreign service is. And if you don't, then you don't understand totally what's going on in these hearings with these witnesses. So let me give you a little background so that you can kind of make sense of where these witnesses are and what they're doing. You know what Schiff and the Democrats are doing? They're just grasping at anything, anyone that can get to give them any ammunition to go at Trump. So why did they use these people with foreign service? Well, let me tell you. You see, the life of a foreign service professional, really, believe it or not, guys, is a pretty lonely life. It takes a dedication that not everybody can do. It can't. Most of us here on this phone couldn't devote the dedication to be a professional foreign service representative for this nation. Number one, you're sent all over the world. Some assignments you're sent to, they're kind of neat places to go. And in some cases, when you get there, the work's neat, the country's neat, the relationship is neat, the host country people are nice, it works great. Some places you'll be sent to are just sheer the worst imagined hotel you've ever been in, the worst motel you've ever had to stay in the worst part of town you've ever had to be around or be in. And that's where you live. The offices might have a little more class or a little nicer, but your living facilities aren't. So what happened in Ukraine? What's this all about? Well, guys, you've got foreign service professionals that their job is to go into a foreign country to work with what in government terms is called the in situ government. In situ government means, in government speak at that level, it means the sitting government, existing government.
The what? Existing government?
Hold on 1 second, Mary Ellen. I'll be right back.
Okay, yeah, I think he got a call coming in and I didn't hear what he said. I don't know if you heard it either. So, in situ, in Latin means in standing.
That's wrong number. Right, I thought it was. Anyway, it's the sitting government. So you go in your job as an ambassador or for the staff or chargé d'affaires Your job is to go in, meet the people, get to know them, develop relationships, especially to develop trust. Trust.
That's kind of hurt.
It takes time. I'm sorry.
I said that's kind of hurt by this charade.
Yeah, well, I'll get to that. It takes time. It takes time to do these things. And so over the years, people settle in to various positions, various jobs, and they get promoted, they get moved around. But what'll happen is you get close to the people you're working with, okay? You get close to these people. And you're telling them things. It's your job to find out from your government what our position is. And then you've got to tell their people, your friends now, what our position is, and convince them that our position for them is in their best interest. And oftentimes, being on the ground in these locations, you know the truth. You know sometimes our official position is not necessarily going to be received by the host country's leadership so well. And then sometimes it's just not going to be right for them. But sometimes what's right for us is not right for them. But as a foreign service professional, it's your duty to represent us. You're Americans. Americans. You're not Ukraine. You're not Ukrainians. You're Americans. So as I see these people coming and testifying, what do I see? I see people that are exactly the problem. The problem President Trump was going to have the day he was elected. You see, President Trump believes, as I do, probably as most of you do, we need to reel in our foreign aid. Number one, we don't need to be sending billions of dollars to countries that hate our guts, foment enemies to us, and send terrorists to kill us. We don't need to send money to those people. We don't. Now, there are humanitarians that say, well, that's not right. Well, no, maybe it's not right, but don't send my tax money to a scumbag bunch of people that want to kill my kids or yours. But see, then comes a new president. And ordinarily, a president coming into power, you will notice they appoint a new ambassador, which is a political appointment to various countries. And that ambassador, guess what? He's made ambassador because he usually made big donations to the president. You got it? And then that person, for making these huge campaign donations to help the president get elected, they get to beat on their chest and proudly say they were made ambassador to Ukraine or to Yugoslavia or to Ikigami. That's what it's about. That is a position granted just as a repayment for campaign money. Really it is. And so heretofore, these professional foreign service people, the changing of guard of ambassador was just a joke. It's just a joke. They come in, they get to live in a nice apartment when they come into the country. They get to be treated like dignitaries. That's quite a scream. It is. And their families, they get all excited and they're made into be something special, and it really makes their campaign contributions worth it. ambassador to. That task is controlled by the Secretary of State. And the Secretary of State has a whole cadre of foreign service professionals that works for him or her. And they're the ones that do the meat and potatoes work for this country and for the host country. But you see, they can't do their job unless they get to know the people in the host country. They cannot do their job unless they get along with the people of the host country and vice versa. Traditionally, in comes a new president, but you'll notice they change some things. Secretary of State will change some things. Usually it's a controversial country like Iran or Iraq. The Middle East is always one that requires attention. But all these other countries, they don't require attention. You don't hear about it. It's not a high priority on the president's to-do list. But when we elected, which is why I knew, Mary Ellen can prove it, when he got elected, I said they would have to impeach him or kill him. I knew he was in trouble because he was running on the platform of America first. America first. And he has the type personality, he don't give a hoot about some other country. He cares about this country, as you've heard him say over and over. He's not president of the world, he's president of the United States of America. Because of that, guess what? He immediately runs into a wall with his foreign service professionals. Because President Trump comes in and wants to change fundamentally our foreign aid practices. He wants to change it because he's also a businessman, right? He's looking at our foreign aid and saying, wait a minute, we're putting all this money in, what are we getting for it? And a businessman will say, look, I'll do this, but what do I get for my money? That's what he does. Instinctively, he does it. You've got professional foreign service professionals that, to them, money's just an administrative function. It's just their job to figure out what Congress has budgeted for them to get and to divide it up to go where they think everybody thinks it needs to go. So here comes President Trump. It just so happens that Ukraine becomes a target of his. Justifiably so, I might add, because so much of the anti-Trump stuff, the dossiers, all of that stuff, guess what? Much of that stuff came from Ukraine. There were people that have been proven in courts of law in the Ukraine to have worked against his campaign and for Hillary within the government of Ukraine. So yes, he ain't gonna like the Ukraine government. So they changed their government. It was totally corrupt. Had little experience in that country, trust me. It's wall-to-wall corrupt. Probably not as bad as ours, but just about. And finally, the people of Ukraine had a vote, landslide vote. And they did what we should do in one election, they threw out 80% of all the existing politicians, threw them out. And they come back with a new president. He appoints a new attorney general and plans to devote his terms to cleaning up systemic corruption in Ukraine. What he says. So you know what? President Trump says, okay, let's see if he's going to do it. Let's see if he's going to do it. And at the same time, President Trump, as with any one of us on this call, if we have the means that he does, he was under siege by the Mueller investigation, under siege. So he sends Rudy Giuliani to the Ukraine to try to get evidence of the coup against him, of which much was found. It has not come public yet, but much was found. He's also concerned as the head law enforcement officer of the land when Joe Biden boasts on TV that he, gave the president 6 hours to get rid of the prosecutor that just happened to be going against his son's corporation. Well, they were holding back $1 billion.
Quid pro quo, right?
Quid pro quo. Now, unlike what's being told to the American people by the Democrats and Adam Schiff, go ask anybody with a law degree, maybe an advanced law degree, but a law degree nonetheless. And what you will find is President Trump could possibly be in more trouble by not ordering the investigation into the Biden-Burisma deal. You see, he's the top law enforcement officer, and when you're in law enforcement, ask a cop. If you see a crime, you must report it. We as private citizens, if we see a crime, we're supposed to report it or we're breaking the law. But it's double, triple, quadruple with law enforcement people. He sees a crime. Now, does he want to spend billions of taxpayer dollars sending FBI people from this country to go to Ukraine and conduct an investigation? Maybe not millions, but millions certainly. Or why not, if you've got a new president, a new attorney general that both pledge to get to and resolve corruption in the Ukraine, why not simply ask them first, you're on the ground, would you look into it? Would you look into it? And if he did anything wrong by taking that path, I assure you, it's nowhere near the legal situation he would be in if he avoided looking into something he knows that appears prima facie, meaning on its face, to be a crime and does nothing about it. Y'all kind of see it now, maybe.
Now, is that up to Larry? Hey, Larry, one sec. Is it up to Barr to do that investigation?
If the president chooses to use our FBI, yes, then it goes to Barr. But he's not at that point yet. What he's doing is actually helping Barr and the Justice Department by saying, let me ask the president of Ukraine to do some preliminary investigation and see if there's something there. And if there is something, then he will turn it to law. And they will open a legitimate investigation.
And didn't they just indict the head of Burisma yesterday?
Yes, they did. But not for crimes here. For crimes in Ukraine. Now, back to our Foreign Service professionals. These guys are just like you. Every one of you. Each one of you have had a job, I'm sure. You may have worked at it for years. You've learned how to do it. You do it quite well. And then let's just say the company changes ownership. And they send in some young hot dog engineer that's going to come in and retell you how to do everything. How did that make you feel when it happened to you? Huh?
Awful.
How did you feel when somebody comes in as a part of a new ownership, sends some young punk to you and starts telling you everything you're doing is wrong and you need to do it the way I say? You got mad, didn't you? Didn't you?
Surely.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's going on right now. And I will tell you, it's complicated. It is. Because truly, these professionals, Foreign Service professionals, they do have a point. We have spent years and years and years fomenting, developing relationships with key people in the Ukraine to gain their trust, to be able to work with them, get them to cooperate and do what we want done for the aid that we send. And then comes a new owner. A new owner comes in and says, we're changing the rules.
Yep.
Well, think if you were a Foreign Service professional and you've been working, let's say, with your counterpart, who is the liaison to the president of Ukraine, and you've worked with him and worked with him, and now all of a sudden you got to go and tell him, you know, all the stuff we told you we're going to do, it may change. This new president's changing things. It's hard. It's hard. They have a right to be upset, just like you had a right when they brought in that young punk to tell you how to do a job you've been doing for 20 years. It's hard. But that, my friends, is life. That is life. What Schiff and the Democrats picked up on was this conflict brewing between professional Foreign Service people and this new administration. They picked up on it. And so they started going around and trying to pick up anybody that will talk bad about something somebody's done. Hence, you have the people you have in these hearings.
And like Ambassador Yovanovitch or whatever her name was, you know, it was all about how her feelings were that she got hurt because she was.
Well, let's look at it her side. Let's be fair. Let's all be fair. It is true. She knows she can be replaced at any time for any reason or no reason at all by the president. She accepts that when she takes the job. I've done that. I know. In comes Rudy Giuliani. And Rudy's a little New York hothead attorney. New York hothead attorney Jew. And I think maybe he's Italian. Anyway, whatever. He's a hothead. He comes in and she's giving him trouble. He gets mad. she's not jumping through a hoop for him because, remember, she's got all these relationships she has developed and all these connections she's got responsibility for. And in comes this guy, and he's rocking and firing, and he's looking for anything that went wrong during the campaign, which was his job because he was the president's attorney investigating, doing his discovery work for the Mueller investigation. That was his job. He had a perfect legal right to do it. But he comes in and makes her upset. She don't do necessarily what he wants necessarily as fast as he wanted it done or whatever. I don't know what the nuances of the relationship could have been, but it was probably nothing much at all, but it was significant. Well, what's he going to say to the president? Now, remember, President Trump's sitting back here in America. He's in America dealing with every issue under the sun, trade issues, campaign issues, helping people get elected, making campaign rallies, doing all this, dealing with the border, dealing with the Middle East. Rudy comes back, said, Mr. President, we got a problem. That dang old ambassador, she's slowing us down. Well, of course, Trump, being of the nature he is, he gets a little frustrated, and here he goes with his magical tweets. So yes, may I say in fairness, yes, he should have just dismissed the ambassador, kept his mouth shut, let her leave, put in a new one. But this again is part of, we must let Trump be Trump. I have to let Trump be Trump. And he's done the little tweet things. So all these professional foreign service people, they light up because they're, think about it, folks, you're stuck off in a foreign country in the middle of hell. You're over there where there's a real shooting war going on. People you know are being shot at, wounded, and killed. It's very personal, and you're a small group of Americans in a very tight-knit situation. So you know what? You build loyalties and friendships, much like a squad, a rifle squad in the Army. You talk about a tight group. Oh, they'll get you along among themselves. They even fight among themselves. But don't nobody on the outside try to get in and pick on one of them, or you'll get the wrath of the whole group. They stand beside each other. They support each other. They didn't like her being roughed up. You wouldn't either. She was a friend. She was a friend. So, isn't it funny? That's the Ukrainian situation in a nutshell. Perfectly logical. Perfectly understandable for both sides. Yovanovitch, yes. She should not have been ridiculed by Trump. Trump, yes. He was mad because she was blocking, so Giuliani said what he was trying to do. He made a mistake. He should not have tweeted. But guess what? She made a mistake. She should not have tried to get involved and mess up Giuliani. Because as far as Giuliani knows, she may have been involved with working with the people in the Ukraine that were trying to defeat Trump. There's room for misunderstandings by the truckloads here. There is. And it's going to happen again. If Trump lives through this, it's going to happen again. Because I promise you, in every country that President Trump decides to tighten up the foreign aid with, people's images and personal feelings are going to get rattled. They are. But I ask y'all this. In the interest of keeping these foreign service people happy, understanding the sacrifice that they make every day to do those jobs. Think about it. Away from home, living in some areas, dangerous areas. Every once in a while getting a cush job. Think about those people. But should we value those people being able to keep the world the way they want it and the way they've had it since they've been in foreign service with the government? If it's not right, should we just keep doing it? If it's hurting America today, should we just keep doing it? Or should we have a president that says, look, I know it will hurt, but we got to change. We've got to change. We don't have enough money to keep doing this. We've got a country falling apart here. We've got roads, bridges falling apart, schools falling apart. We got everything falling apart. We don't have the money to flippantly just be throwing it to these countries and just bowing to their every wants and wishes and keeping the foreign service professionals happy. It's got to happen. Going to happen. Unless Trump loses, and then it won't matter. But after all I've told you, which is the long and the short of it, it's the short version of the truth from both sides. I'm not trying to whitewash it for either side, Trump nor the Foreign Service professional. I'm not explaining as best I can both of them's position. Understand both of them's position as best I can. But do it all to see the Democrats jump on this and try to use it as a vehicle to witch hunt like they did the Mueller investigation to find a crime that they can go after the president with. That's wrong. But more than that, I've heard in these hearings from these foreign service professionals that the worst thing we can do is make Ukraine think that we don't support them anymore. And more importantly than even Ukraine thinking we don't support them anymore, dear God in heaven, Russia, do we want Russia thinking that they have been successful at busting up our relationship with the Ukraine so they can just march in and take it? The problem with the foreign service professionals is they're blaming Trump. It is not President Trump. It is Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, and the Democrats that have put this out front for the whole world to see. And you can bet your bottom ass that there are probably people in Ukraine, I'm talking everyday run-of-the-mill people in Ukraine, that are more interested in what's going on in these hearings than 99% of most Americans. They've got an enemy at their gate, fixing to come in and slaughter them. And if Russia gets the feeling we're not there for them, they will. So I would beg Schiff, for once in your miserable, sorry life, think about somebody other than yourself. Think about this country. Think about what you're doing to this country. And by doing so, what you're doing to people in Ukraine that have never done a thing to hurt us or to hurt him. Think about it. That's what makes me mad. That's what drives me crazy. And then And he uses CNN, which is what I've told y'all since day one. Remember, when you live in foreign countries, you don't get Fox News normally. The network you see, which is what you call the truth and the news of America, comes into you from CNN. And CNN is propagating all of this trash shit he's doing. These are dangerous times. And if you don't believe this thing Shift is doing can work, if you don't believe what they're doing, because some of us, I'm sure, are saying, this is crazy, nobody will buy this can't lead to getting Trump. I've heard that from all these pundits till I'm sick of it. Haven't yet heard of a crime, haven't yet seen a crime. This is not an impeachable offense. Well, I would ask all of y'all to look a little bit earlier today. Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel has been besieged the same way Trump has for 3 years. Today, he became the first Prime Minister of Israel ever to be indicted.
What? They indicted him too?
They indicted him today. Benjamin Netanyahu. And it started just like this with Trump. Started with some of the most bogus allegations, the most ridiculous claims you can imagine. And they kept on and kept on and kept on until they found the technicality. And when they found the technicality, they went for a stroke. You didn't hear about that, most of you, in the details of how they've gone after him. But it's eerily similar to what the Democrats and Shift and all of them have done to go after Trump. Because in Israel, the mainstream, if you want to call it, media of Israel, is just like ours. Just like ours. My God, folks, wake up. Wake up. I don't do this because I want to. I do it because I have to. And this is why I say to you, it's so important for me to at least believe that I'm giving y'all true information that you can spread to help us get our country back.
Larry, that being said, let me just interject here. Please hit the like button and please share this video today. This is important for people to know. Really important to know.
Well, this would be a good lesson program for anybody you know. In my way, and I know my way's crude, and I know I probably didn't tell it exactly the ways academically you're supposed to tell this stuff. But I think y'all get the message. It'd be good for people to understand what's going on with this hearing. And I'm not talking about the smear tactics of the Democrats. I'm talking about why there is such a battle between these career professionals and President Trump. It's natural. It goes on every day out here in the business world. Every day. All right, anybody got any questions?
Lindsey Graham is saying that the FISA report will be released on the 9th and the IG report on the 11th, and it's going to be very damaging. Juan wants to know what you think.
That's exactly what I am told. My people that know. Not rumor mill, that's real.
Yeah. Somebody made the comment, I forgot to write down who it was, that Hillary wants to retire Trump, and they said that that's gangster terminology for murder.
That's the rumor stuff that we don't want to propagate.
Thank you. I was wondering about, wasn't Ukraine supposedly going to get $1.8 billion and that money disappeared? Is that how a lot of...
They got 1.8 million. They got it.
Okay. I just saw somebody talking about how the money had disappeared and that it was being, used as bribes for the vote to get it, and most of it had come back to the congressman. So that's another one of these big rumors that we hear. It's just
now, in past aid packages to the Ukraine, yes, the money has been distributed primarily to oligarchs and people inside the government, and not to the people or purposes were given. But I hate to tell y'all, that goes on in every country we send aid to. But the money that Trump in this whole ordeal we see on television is about, that money, 1.8 billion, did get released. And it was released with specific tasks. So in other words, it went into buying not only Javelin missiles, but other military supplies. And the reason I know it's been spent properly is because they bought them from us. What else we got? Anybody?
Big Brother asked, why is Trump not firing Gina Haspel? Because she seems to be undermining the investigation against the deep state.
I don't know. I will ask. If somebody will, I don't know that I'll be told, but I don't mind asking. I will say I've kind of wondered that same thing myself a little bit. But remember, guys, please remember, I'm not there every day in the White House. I'm not there every day for the daily goings on, inner office actions and connections, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it would be just as wrong of me as I'm telling y'all to stay away from some of this rumor mill stuff. It'd be just as wrong of me to give you my opinion for something that I truly am not involved in. That would be wrong, and I won't do it. I will try to find the truth, but I won't do it otherwise.
Will Schiff face any consequences for not running the hearing properly?
Only if the people in his district choose to make him suffer. Short of that, no. Not a thing.
Who has to make him suffer?
The people in his district. They've got to vote him out.
And they keep voting him back in, so how likely is that? When do you think the IG report will be released? Because it's just Horowitz going to testify on the 11th. Gloria said.
Okay. I am informed. And I've been the one saying, watch out about giving dates certain for the IG report. But in this case, due to the strategic placement of things relative to what's going on with Trump, the impeachment, the news cycle, the holiday season, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all of those have been figured into the calculus. As far as I know, on or around the 11th of December, the IG report having to do with FISA will come out. Prior to that, we should expect to see a release of potential actions from Bob Starr and Durham.
You mean Bill Barr?
Bill Barr, I'm sorry. And Durham, and what they're bringing forward.
Larry, Starr and Barr. I mean, we're talking about the impeachment of two presidents. Good grief.
I worked, folks, so long with Kenneth Starr
Yeah.
and the impeachment of Bill Clinton that I continually make that mistake. Please forgive me. I'm an old man now.
Do you know Steve Peasnick?
Do not.
Okay. Mimi asks, is no one afraid of what Trump knows about people that they don't want out to the public?
I'll say that again because I want to answer it properly.
Is no one afraid of what Trump knows about lots of people that they don't want out to the public?
All right. Let me tell you about that. People are not afraid that Trump, even though he knows things about people that could certainly put them in the penalty box, at least publicly, and, embarrass them, put them under the table. If he released it, they're not worried about it, y'all. Because the mainstream media is not going to release anybody that they don't want destroyed. The Democrats can destroy anybody. President Trump could have proof, absolute proof, 10 times over, as do I, that I can't get it made public because the mainstream media won't print it. They won't show it.
And you have proof of that, Larry. You've got proof of that because of what happened on the courthouse step when you had this lawsuit against Bill Clinton to get this whole thing started.
I assure you that I could rain on a lot of parades of bigwig people, politicians, etc. But where are you going to go to get it released?
Yeah.
See, we forget all the time. They control the media. They control it. They control the judicial branch of government totally. They control it. We don't. People in sincere representation of the Constitution of the United States of America, we don't control those areas. We don't control the judicial system, and we have nothing we can do with the freedom of the press. The press can be as biased as they want to be and get by with it as long as people subscribe and buy ads to their commercials. Whatever.
Angel says, your voice gives me hope. Much love to you, Patriot.
Well, thank you, Angel. And I need some hope. I need hope. I need to know that y'all will help financially. Please. If I'm able to keep going, I swear to you, I will make things happen. Maybe not make them, but I'll damn sure help them. But I have to be able to go on. You should hear now, I'm better sounding than I've been for a few days. It's because I was able to get somewhat caught up on the stuff I have to stay going.
Yeah, that GoFundMe money came in at a perfect time, but folks, he went through it already. It's gone. So we don't have any way to help him today.
And others that have helped. I mean, that money goes to keeping me going. And if I can ever get on top of it instead of getting down and then having to build back up, it's hopefully cheaper. So if you're out there, I'm asking you again, please help me. Help me to do what I can do. Please, there's got to be somebody in this audience. I know there is somebody in this audience that can do like a couple, three other people have done, that could send $1,000, could send $10,000, and it wouldn't break them. Just as easy as some of the people can send $5. Please do it now. We need your help. These are critical times. Very, very critical.
Extremely.
What else?
I just posted your PayPal account. It's nicholslive@aol.com, and the website nicholslive.com has a link to his PayPal. It has his mailing address and a phone number you can send a text message to for any alternative ways to donate.
And by the way, to the people that have sent cash in the mail, to my knowledge, I've gotten it. I have received it. I've been alive when it comes in, and I'm very thankful for it. Very thankful to all of you. Sent any amount.
Yes. B Stinger is asking what meds you need. I don't know that this is a place to discuss that. But
this is not the place to put that out.
Yep.
Somebody had said they had some inhalers that they might be able to send. Those would be helpful. I'm just about out of Plovent, and there's two kinds. One is Provento and Plovent. If anybody's got any of those laying around that you don't use, I could sure as heck use them.
Provent and Provento?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Plovent and Provento.
Cindy said, would you please find a way to let the president know we're losing channels every day?
He knows it. He knows it, and he knows that we're going to lose all of them before this is over. That's why we've got to act now. Now.
Okay, a few more questions. We're almost out of time, Larry, and I've got something I've got to take care of here, so we can't go overtime today. If Hillary were to be elected, would there be war with Russia?
No. Okay.
Gloria asked, do you think the Patriot Act will be rescinded? They just approved it yesterday. I think in the House, they just approved it to extend for 3 more months. And somebody yesterday was concerned that meant there might be some kind of false flag action coming.
No, Patriot Act will not be rescinded.
Can you say why?
Yeah. Once anything gets on the books that destroys our liberties and freedoms, it don't ever go away. Now, if it was good for us, yeah, there's a chance it'd get rescinded. But they don't ever take back. When they get something that hurts us, they don't ever take it back. And about the question of war, it doesn't matter if it's Hillary or one of the other idiots on the Democratic side that wins the presidency this time, if Trump is weak or lost or loses or gets thrown out, whatever. There will not be war. We will be destroyed from within, as I have told y'all over and over, the process that will go on. As far as relationships with Russia and China and all these other countries, they want nothing but Hillary back in. They want Hillary or somebody like her back in because they want us to go back to to the old style where they get anything from us they want, we get nothing.
Marcos is concerned for Bill Barr. Does he have enough security with him?
Yeah.
And if Trump gets reelected, will he be able to do anything against these traitorous mainstream media people?
No. He will not be able to do anything against the media, but we will have 4 years. 4 years to break the media down. At some point, they've got to give. If he can get another 4 years, there's a chance their bottom lines will suffer so that they have to start trying halfway to tell the truth. And I say halfway. I don't think they'll ever come back, but maybe halfway. What else?
James asked, what can Trump do about the re-education camps posing as colleges?
Well, believe it or not, James, there are plans. If he is reelected, there are plans to do something about it. I'm not going to go into the specifics because if I do, I would run the risk, James, of creating hundreds of thousands of votes against him.
Okay, Marcos just sent $50.
Let me say it this way, James. All of you, just imagine if we could, let's say eliminate as a dream, or certainly reduce the National Education Department.
Yeah, it belongs at the state level.
That's right. Not going to say any more, but yes, there is a plan that will be implemented. Just like there's a plan to straighten out the judicial system.
Okay, we've got a comment from Europe. Larry, I give you my respect. I wish we had someone like you here in Europe. Do not become like us, folks. Fight for your country. Stand with Larry. Love from the EU to everyone.
Yes, thank you. And the people of Europe can certainly give us a lesson in what we have to look forward to if we succumb to this. Again, not pretty. Ask the listeners from Europe. Not pretty. Any other question, Mary Ellen?
Which Democratic candidate, Marcos asked, which Democratic candidate is closest to getting DNC support? In other words, being nominated to oppose POTUS?
Well, right now, and I'm not well placed in the Democratic Party or the Progressive Council at all anymore, obviously. But at this point, one is still being considered as possibly their best hope, if and only if she will drop some of her tax stuff. And it's a real battle going on internally to see whether she'll give into that. If she doesn't, I suggest the field is back open again. And remember, the DNC, I told you about it, read it to you, I think. The DNC asked, what's his name, to get back in? And
Bloomberg.
What else you got?
That's it, Larry. I want to say that Marcos sent $50. He's going to increase that if he can, and we need people to match that if possible and go over that.
Who did?
Desert Marcos. He sent another 75. So he's
75 came in for Mark. Thank you,
right.
Mark.
Yep.
And folks, I need your help. I need it now, desperately, desperately. Please, we're all in this. We're all in this. So with that, I guess, Mary Ellen, I will say good day. If I can get enough help today, I will do everything in my power to be here tomorrow. I'm under the gun with stuff that I'm working on, and I'd have to say it's important. Mary Ellen can tell you better than I, but
All right, Larry.
we're digging in. We're digging in.
Yep.
Thank you. Good day, folks.
Thanks, Larry. All right, just to wrap up, in the description box under the video here is the link to the website. It's his PayPal account, nicholslive@aol.com. My phone number's there for a text message. What else? It's on the website. You can get Larry's book, 28 Years to Nowhere. It's his autobiography of from the day he left. It explains why he left the employment of Bill Clinton, why they separated, and it goes through his fight through the years until Trump's election. It's got some information in there from those of us that were on the team with him in 2016 and what we thought of, what Larry did, what he accomplished, what we accomplished with him and helping him. If any of you, I want everybody to know we changed the script on the website, nicholslive.com, to, let's see, we were only going to do it for a week, and now we've dropped a couple sentences and changed it a little bit. I'm going to type in Larry's address right now. It's Larry Nichols, 58 Kensington Drive, Conway, Arkansas, 72034. So I just put that in. Hopefully, there it is. I'm seeing it come up now. Okay. I've got to go. I've got somebody coming here in an hour, and I've got to make ready quick as I can. So, thank you. Thank you, folks, for everything you do. Please make sure you share this video. It really is important, and do what you can. And I won't belabor that point. Thank you, guys. I've got to go. God bless you. Bye now. And if you have Provent or Provental inhalers, Larry could use some if you're willing to share them. Thank you. God bless you. Bye.